The kitchen reeked of failure, burnt garlic and regret. I stood over the stove, the sizzling remnants of my romantic dinner for Lena congealing into a blackened mess in the pan. My hands trembled, still clutching the spatula, as her words echoed in my skull. It was awful, Mark. Just awful. She hadn't even looked at me when she said it, her eyes fixed on her phone, her voice sharp enough to slice through the candlelit illusion I'd spent hours crafting. The table was still set, wine glasses half empty, plates barely touched, the air heavy with the scent of rosemary and betrayal. I'd poured my heart into that meal, hoping to rekindle something we'd lost. Instead, she'd left me standing there alone, the front door slamming behind her as she muttered about needing air. And now, hours later, my phone buzzed with a text that turned my stomach to ice. Dinner was great. Lena told me everything. I'm coming over. It was from Claire, her sister. The words blurred on the screen, each syllable a needle prick to my chest. Lena told me everything. What did that mean? My mind raced, conjuring images of whispered confessions, secret glances, things I'd missed while I was busy chopping onions and praying for a spark. I set the phone down on the counter, its cold glass surface grounding me for a moment. The kitchen clock ticked too loudly, each second a reminder that Claire would be here soon. I didn't know why she was coming, but the thought of facing her, Lena's mirror image, her confidant, felt like walking into a trap. My heart thudded, a mix of dread and defiance. If Lena had told her something, I needed to know. I deserved to know. I wiped my hands on a dish towel, the rough fabric scraping against my knuckles, and tried to steady my breath. The house felt too quiet, the kind of quiet that amplifies every creak of the floorboards, every gust of wind rattling the windows. I glanced at the dining table again, at the wilted roses I'd bought on a whim, their petals curling like they were ashamed of me. I'd spent all day planning this: fresh pasta, roasted vegetables, a playlist of songs from when we were still happy. Lena had barely taken a bite before her face twisted, not just at the food but at me. "You don't get it, do you?" she'd said, her voice low, almost pitying. I thought she meant the dinner. Now I wasn't so sure. The doorbell rang, a shrill stab through the silence. My pulse spiked. I crossed the living room, each step heavier than the last, and opened the door to Claire. She stood there, her coat dusted with late autumn leaves, her auburn hair catching the porch light. She looked too much like Lena, same sharp cheekbones, same green eyes, but where Lena's gaze was always guarded, Claire's was raw, unguarded, brimming with something I couldn't name. Anger? Pity? Guilt? She stepped inside without waiting for an invitation, her boots clicking on the hardwood. "Mark," she said, her voice soft but edged, like she was holding back a storm. "We need to talk." I nodded, my throat tight, and gestured toward the couch. The living room felt smaller with her in it, the air thicker. I sat across from her in the armchair, my hands clasped to keep them from shaking. "What's this about?" I asked, though I wasn't sure I wanted the answer. My mind flashed to the past few months. Lena's late nights at work, her sudden silences, the way she'd started locking her phone. Small things I'd brushed off as stress, as her being her. Now they felt like breadcrumbs leading somewhere I didn't want to go. Claire leaned forward, her elbows on her knees, her eyes locked on mine. "Lena told me about the dinner," she said. "And other things." She paused, her lips parting as if the next words were too heavy to say. My stomach twisted, a cold knot forming. "She said she's been unhappy, Mark. For a long time." I swallowed hard, the taste of bile rising. Unhappy? The word felt foreign, like it belonged to someone else's life. "She never said anything. Not to me." My voice cracked, betraying the calm I was trying to project. I thought of the nights we'd spent in silence, the way she'd pull away when I reached for her. I told myself it was temporary, that we were just in a rut. But Claire's expression, half sympathy, half something darker, told me it was more. "She didn't want to hurt you," Claire said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But she's been seeing someone else." The room tilted. My breath caught, sharp and jagged, like I'd been punched. Seeing someone else. The words were a blade, slicing through every memory of Lena's smile, her touch, the promises we'd made. I wanted to laugh, to call it absurd, but the look in Claire's eyes stopped me. It was real. Too real. I managed my voice hoarse. Who is it? Claire hesitated, her fingers twisting the hem of her coat. It's not my place to say. She wanted to tell you herself, but she couldn't. That's why she left tonight. She's scared, Mark. Scared of what this will do to you. Scared. I snapped, the word bursting out before I could stop it. Anger flared, hot and sudden, burning away the numbness. She's scared of what this will do to me? She's the one sneaking around lying, and I'm supposed to, what? Feel sorry for her. My hands were shaking now, fists clenched in my lap. I wanted to scream, to break something, but all I could do was stare at Claire, searching her face for a lie, a mistake, anything that would make this not true. Claire's eyes softened, but there was something else there, guilt, maybe, or fear. I know you're angry, she said. You have every right to be. But Lena's not a monster. She's just lost. She didn't mean for this to happen. Didn't mean for it to happen? I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. What? She just tripped and fell into someone else's bed. The image hit me like a wave. Lena with someone else, her hands on them, her voice whispering things she used to say to me. I pressed my palms to my eyes, trying to block it out, but it was there, vivid and cruel. How long? I asked, my voice barely audible. How long has this been going on? Claire looked away, her jaw tight. A few months, she said finally. Maybe longer. Months. The word was a weight, crushing the air from my lungs. Months of lies, of her coming home to me, kissing me, sleeping beside me, all while carrying this secret. I thought of the dinner again, the way she'd barely looked at me, her words cutting deeper than I'd realized. It was awful. Maybe she wasn't talking about the food at all. Maybe she was talking about us. About me. I stood, unable to sit still, and paced the room. The floor creaked under my weight, the sound grating against my nerves. Why are you telling me this? I asked, turning to face Claire. Why not her? Why send you to do her dirty work? Claire's face crumpled, just for a moment, before she steadied herself. Because she's my sister, she said. And because I care about you, Mark. I didn't want you to find out some other way. You deserve better than that. Her words stung, not because they were cruel but because they were kind. Too kind. I wanted to hate her for being here, for delivering this blow, but I couldn't. She was caught in the middle, just like me. Or was she? A thought flickered, unbidden, at the edge of my mind. Claire had always been close to Lena. Too close sometimes. The late-night calls, the weekends they spent together, the way Lena would light up around her in a way she hadn't with me in years. My chest tightened, a new kind of fear creeping in. Claire, I said, my voice low, dangerous. Who is it? Who's she been seeing? She froze, her eyes widening just enough to betray her. I told you it's not my place. Tell me. I shouted, the sound echoing off the walls. My hands were shaking again, my vision blurring with tears I refused to let fall. Is it you? The question hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. Claire's face went pale, her lips parting in shock. For a moment, I thought I'd misread her, that I'd let my paranoia get the better of me. But then she looked down, her hands twisting in her lap, and I knew. It's not what you think, she whispered, but her voice was trembling, and the words were hollow. It's complicated. Complicated. I stepped closer, my voice rising. You're her sister, Claire. How could you? My words choked off, the betrayal doubling, tripling, until it was a weight I couldn't carry. Lena's betrayal was one thing, but Claire's? It was a knife in the back, twisted by someone I trusted almost as much. I didn't mean for it to happen, Claire said, tears spilling down her cheeks now. It just did. We were drunk, and she was so sad, and I love her, Mark. Not like you do, but I love her. The room spun. I stumbled back, my legs hitting the armchair, and I sank into it, my hands gripping the armrests like they were the only thing keeping me grounded. Lena and Claire. My wife and her sister. The truth was a living thing, clawing at my insides, tearing apart everything I thought I knew. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but all I could do was sit there, drowning in the wreckage of my life. The front door creaked open, and I looked up to see Lena standing there, her face pale, her eyes wide with horror. She'd heard everything. The silence that followed was deafening, a void filled with the ghosts of our promises, our love, our trust. And in that moment, I realized the dinner wasn't the only thing that was awful. It was us. All of us.